Students, today we discuss about the memory. I have already discussed block diagram of a computer system with you, and in this block diagram we have seen that we have input unit and one output unit, and this portion is known as CPU, central processing unit, and this works like our brain. We further classify it into three parts. One is ALU, arithmetic logical unit, and another is control unit, and next is memory. So you can see our brain perform all the calculation. So here we have ALU to perform all the arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic operations are like plus, minus, and logical operations like A is less than B. Then control unit, like our brain control all our organs, body parts, and our hand movement, our feet movement are controlled by our brain. So this portion of CPU which control all the parts is known as control unit. And then like our brain, we store the informations. Here we too have a storage unit known as memory. So today we will discuss about this memory portion. Why we need memory? We need memory for storage. So to store the data, we use this portion. Now we have different type of memories in our computer. First thing, memory. Memory is used to store all the data and instructions in a computer. So I am talking about data and instructions. We have two things, data and the action or the instructions that we need to store in memory unit. Now we have different kind of these storage units, and these are classified into two main category. One is main memory and second is secondary memory. Main memory and secondary memory. The memory I mentioned here in this portion is actually main memory, but this is small in size, so we have an additional memory which is known as secondary memory. So we classify our memory in computer in two main parts. One is main memory which is part of CPU, and secondary memory which is additional memory. We can also say main memory or primary memory, or secondary memory or auxiliary memory. Now, in addition to these two memories, we have some other type of memories also. One is CPU processor, and second is cache memory. Now, how these different type of memories work together to store data and instructions. Now, I am talking about CPU. In CPU, we have main memory. So, CPU actually communicate with main memory. You can say CPU communicate or CPU search main memory for data and instructions. So actually CPU directly communicate with only main memory. It doesn't communicate with secondary memory. If any data is required from the secondary memory, that data is first stored in main memory, or you can say transferred into main memory, and then CPU can work on it. So actually this memory is working memory for the CPU. Okay, and here main memory can further divided into RAM and ROM. So CPU can directly interact with the ROM and the RAM. Now ROM is read-only memory and RAM is random access memory. Actually, all the working takes place in RAM, whereas ROM is used for the permanent storage of the memory. Whenever we switch on our computer, it automatically searches for the location in the ROM. And from that location in the ROM, the operating system starts loading, or the instruction to load the operating system are stored in the ROM, and then after this, when the loading of the operating system completed, the control transfer to the operating system and everything will be managed by the operating system. Now the role of RAM starts working. ROM is generally used when we switch on the computer. After that, all the working takes place in the RAM. So RAM is the memory that is used by the CPU for storing current data and instructions, because all the other data is stored in the secondary memory, as RAM is limited in size. Now we have these two others memories, CPU and cache. Actually, CPU processors are registers. These CPU processors are known as registers. Registers are the special memory locations that are built inside a CPU. And we have limited number of registers. There are some limited number of registers in a CPU, and these number of registers or their working depends on the architecture of the CPU. So these registers are used to store the temporary data or the result by the operations carried out of the CPU. So there are a movement of information whenever CPU performs some action, and these movement of information takes place with the help of these registers. These registers are used to store the data, instruction and the address, and these address can be belong to the data or to the instruction in memory. So some of the commonly used registers are: number 1, memory address register, MAR, memory address register. This register holds the address of the active memory location. Actually, it has address of the memory location from where we need to fetch the data. Second is memory buffer register. It is also sometimes known as memory data register. It is used to store the data which is fetched from the memory. या आप कहिए कि MAR में जो एड्रेस था, उस एड्रेस से जो डेटा आया, that is stored in the MBR, memory buffer register. Third is program control register. This is very important and a special type of register, program control register. And this register holds the address of next instruction. Remember, address of next instruction. The next instruction that has to be executed after the execution of current instruction. Okay, so the address of that instruction is stored in PC. Next, we have another register, that is IR instruction register. It is the register that holds the address of current instruction. So the address of the current register instruction is always in instruction register. When the execution of these current instruction completed, the content of PC is transferred to instruction register. Of course, because करंट वाली हो गई तो फिर नेक्स्ट वाली शुरू होगी ना, एंड नेक्स्ट का एड्रेस कहाँ है, डेट इज इन द पीसी. सो कंटेंट ऑफ पीसी इज ट्रांसफर्ड इन द इंस्ट्रक्शन रजिस्टर एंड द एड्रेस ऑफ नेक्स्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन इज कंप्यूटेड एंड लोडेड इनटू द पीसी. नाउ द मोस्ट important register, that is known as accumulator or denoted by AC. So accumulator is the most important register. It holds the data on which CPU operates. यानी CPU जो ऑपरेट करेगा वो सारा का सारा डेटा जो है वो एक्यूमुलेटर में रखा जाएगा. So it is the register on which actually CPU work or on which CPU perform the instruction for the calculation or for the logical type of operations. So all the arithmetic and logical operations perform on accumulator. And this particular register is used to hold the input data, the intermediate results and the output result before transferring into the memory. Suppose we want to add a plus b into f. So here first it will perform b into f and it is stored into a, and then it add the content of a in this. Next the final result is transferred to the memory location. Like if we write c is equal to a plus b into f, then AC first hold b and then it multiply f with accumulator, and now accumulator has b into f. After this it fetch the value of a from the memory and a is added into the content of AC. Now AC has the final result and this result is transferred to the memory location C. So accumulator is used to operate all the operations and it holds the results. 7th is input output register. 6th is input output register. It is used to communicate with input and output devices. All input informations such as instructions and data are transferred to this register by an input device, and similarly all output information to be transferred to an output device is stored in this register before transfer operations. So this is all about registers. Now next thing is cache memory. What is this memory? I have already told you that RAM is used for the processing by the CPU, because RAM is only memory because as registers, these CPU registers are within CPU. So the outside memory is main memory with which CPU interact for all type of informations and instructions. Now this CPU and main memory, or you can say RAM particularly, here the transfer of information takes place between these two to carry out all type of operations. Now what happens? As whenever CPU required something, it search that in RAM. But RAM and CPU, they are in length apart because there is some distance between, or you can say there are some wires between CPU and RAM. And we know the speed of CPU is much faster than the speed of memories. I mean, the fetching of data from memory or transferring of data to memory is much slower than the CPU speed. It overall decrease the efficiency of CPU because CPU को ऑपरेशन करने के लिए RAM से डेटा चाहिए. डेटा लाने ले जाने में जो टाइम लगेगा वो टाइम भी तो एक तरह से ऑपरेशन में इंक्लूड हो गया. अब CPU सपोज अपना काम नैनो सेकेंड्स में कर देता है, लेकिन आपका ये जो मूवमेंट है इट टेक्स अराउंड मिली सेकेंड्स. सो ऑफकोर्स CPU जो है वेटिंग में लगा रहेगा उतनी देर तक. सो वी ऑलवेज ट्राई टू रिड्यूस दिस fetch time, but it is not possible to reduce this speed below a certain limit, and it is due to, you can say, physics, or you can say the speed of light is the limitation of our movement. करंट जो है वो आपका स्पीड ऑफ लाइट से चलता है, और आपको पता है स्पीड ऑफ लाइट जो होती है वो हमारी मैक्सिमम लिमिट है, तो उससे ज़्यादा फास्ट जो है चीज़ें ट्रेवल नहीं कर सकती. ऑफ कोर्स करंट भी ट्रेवल नहीं कर सकता, आपका 1010 का जो पैटर्न है वो भी ट्रेवल नहीं कर सकता, क्योंकि ये सर्टेन डिस्टेंस है. और आपको पता है कि जो हमारी स्पीड ऑफ लाइट है वो डिफरेंट मटेरियल में तो डिफरेंट ही हो जाती है, तो इट इज़ मच स्लोअर इन some copper wire, or you can say some silver wire or other. So we place a small memory. I mean it is also मतलब physically वाकई ऐसा होता है कि it is placed near CPU, or you can say it is placed in between CPU and RAM, and it is much smaller than the RAM. It holds the current data and instructions, and this particular memory is known as cache memory. So now what happened? Whenever CPU needs any data, it search in the cache memory. If it found it, the data there, it use it. If it does not found data in cache, it search in the RAM. Okay, so if data is found in cache memory, it is known as hit, and if CPU cannot find data in cache, it is known as miss. And for the efficient processing, we need maximum number of hits. So this cache memory is continuously changed so that it can satisfy CPU for the maximum number of time. So it holds a smaller amount of data that can be used by the CPU currently. और होता क्या है कि कैशे के अंदर ये डेटा इसीलिए बार बार चेंज होता रहता है, और ये डेटा आता क्या है, दिस डेटा इज ट्रांसफर्ड फ्रॉम द रैम. सो एक्चुअली इट हैज़ ए टू वे कम्युनिकेशन विद रैम. रैम से डेटा आएगा, नई ज़रूरत है तो फिर फटाफट रैम में ट्रांसफ़र हो जाएगा और वहाँ से फ्रेश डेटा आ जाएगा जिसकी अभी ज़रूरत है. So cache memory is a temporary memory which is used to hold the current data and it increase the speed Actually, cache memory is used to minimizing the speed mismatch between the CPU and the RAM. Moreover, if the size of cache is large, we need more access time. It will work like RAM. So that's why we keep the size of cache memory less and its speed is also much more than the RAM, so that CPU can work faster. So cache memory is extremely fast, small memory between CPU and the main memory whose access time is closer to the processing speed of CPU. It acts as a high speed buffer between CPU and RAM, or you can say main memory, and used to temporarily store data. Is it clear? Now we talk about main memory. Now I have already told you we have two types of main memories, RAM and ROM. RAM is random access memory and ROM is read-only memory. RAM is also known as read-write memory. Means we can do both the operation read and write in the RAM, whereas ROM is read-only memory. We can only write inside the ROM. We can only read inside the ROM, or the information is written only once in ROM. आपने एक बार लिखा and ये हमेशा यूज हो जाएगा. So random access memory is a volatile memory. Volatile means whenever we switch off the power, the data written in the RAM will be finished or will be vanished. आपने स्विच ऑफ किया, रैम के अंदर जो भी कुछ था वो खत्म हो जाएगा, डिलीट हो जाएगा. तो इसीलिए हम इसको बोलते हैं इट इज वॉलेटाइल मेमोरी एंड इट इज यूज्ड फॉर द टेम्परेरी स्टोरेज. So that CPU can access this for its operations. तो जो भी आपका करंट प्रोग्राम और आपकी डेटा है वो आपका रैम में रख लिया जाएगा. उसमें से भी जो बिल्कुल करंटली यूज़ कर रहा है, जो एक्टिव एकदम से, वो आपका कैशे मेमोरी में आ जाता है. तो यहाँ जो ये हमारे रैम है, इट इज़ यूज्ड फॉर द टेम्परेरी स्टोरेज ऑफ द डेटा. And then next ROM. ROM is a non-volatile of memory. I mean, जो आपने एक बार लिख दिया, it will be stored permanently. आप स्विच ऑफ कर दीजिए, तब भी ROM के अंदर जो कंटेंट है वो as it is रहेगा. और उसकी एक वजह भी है, क्यों रहेगा? क्योंकि ROM तो डिज़ाइन इसलिए किया गया ना कि whenever we switch on our computer, it can take, और यू कैन से CPU कैन टेक इंस्ट्रक्शंस फ्रॉम द ROM. क्योंकि जब स्विच ऑन करेंगे कोई ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम नहीं होगा, कोई कंट्रोल करने के लिए सिस्टम नहीं होगा, तो क्या करना क्या है? तो ये हार्ड वायर्ड में इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं कि वेन एवर वी स्विच ऑन आवर कंप्यूटर, इट ऑटोमेटिकली सर्च फॉर द, you can say, zero track and zero sector of ROM. I mean, you can say the first position of the ROM, and it starts executing the instructions in the ROM, and it helps in executing the operating system or loading of the operating system in RAM, and after that the operating system takes the control of CPU. तो ROM का जो रोल है वो हमारा स्विच ऑन जब हम करते हैं तब होता है. तो ROM is read-only memory. Here we write the instruction only once, and this writing of instruction, or you can say the programming of ROM, is generally performed by the manufacturer of the computer. नॉर्मल प्रोग्रामर्स जो हैं वो इस रोम की प्रोग्रामिंग नहीं करते. इस रोम की प्रोग्रामिंग ज़्यादातर जो आपका कंप्यूटर बना आया है जिसने, वो मैन्युफैक्चर ही करके इनबिल्ट करके इसको देते हैं. सो रोम रीड ओनली मेमोरी और नॉन वॉलेटाइल है, स्विच ऑफ करने पे भी आपकी रहेगी. साइज में स्मॉल है क्योंकि इसकी रिक्वायरमेंट ही सिर्फ इतनी है कि जब स्विच ऑन होगा तो ये आपका ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम को लोड करने में हेल्प करे. नाउ वी हैव सम डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ रोम. एज द टेक्नोलॉजी इम्प्रूव्स, so we have improvements in the ROM also. So next type of ROM is PROM, programmable read only memory. So here we can program our ROM once. आपको फ्रेश रोम मिल जाएंगी. रोम मतलब सर्किट से मिल जाएंगे जो फ्यूज हो गए, और उन सर्किट्स को आप अपनी रिक्वायरमेंट्स के हिसाब से, लेकिन ये काम स्पेशलाइज्ड प्रोग्रामर जो हैं वही कर पाते हैं, वो अपने हिसाब से इसको प्रोग्राम कर सकते हैं. और ये भी एक ही बार प्रोग्राम हो सकता है, उसके बाद हम इसको दोबारा से रीप्रोग्राम नहीं कर सकते. सो प्रोग्रामेबल रीड ओनली मेमोरी, यानी आप एक फ्रेश रोम लिया है, आपने इस फ्रेश रोम को जिसके अंदर अभी कोई डेटा राइट नहीं किया गया है, उसको आपने डेटा उसके अंदर जो भी आपकी इंस्ट्रक्शन थी आपने राइट कर दी. नाउ नेक्स्ट वी हैव EEPROM. These are the special type of ROM where we can erasable, programmable read-only memory. So we can erase our data with the help of ultraviolet rays. So आप ultraviolet rays यूज़ कीजिए और आप इरेज कर दीजिए पहले वाले को, और फिर उसको नए सिरे से प्रोग्राम कर सकते हो. बट अल्ट्रावायलेट रेज को यूज़ करना वही है कि बहुत ध्यान से करना पड़ता है. नेक्स्ट टेक्नोलॉजी आई EEPROM, इलेक्ट्रिकली इरेजेबल प्रोग्रामेबल रीड ओनली मेमोरी. तो यहाँ अब आपके पास फैसिलिटी क्या गई, यू डोंट नीड ultraviolet rays for erasing the data. You can use electricity for erasing the data here, and it can again program. But even then, this programming of the ROM is not done frequently. ऐसा नहीं है कि रोज लिया और उठाया और चेंज कर दिया. No, it is done वेरी इनफ्रीक्वेंटली. कोई खास रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं तभी जो है इसको आपका यूज़ किया जाता है. अदरवाइज एक बार प्रोग्रामिंग करके हम उसे बार बार यूज़ करते रहते हैं. दैट्स वाई वी कॉल ROM रीड ओनली मेमोरी. इट इज़ प्रोग्राम्ड वंस एंड यूज्ड फॉर मेनी टाइम्स. सो नाउ वी हैव 4 टाइप ऑफ मेन मेमोरीज. वन इज RAM, सेकेंड इज ROM, third is CPU, processor, and then cache memory. So actually we can say the CPU processor, the cache memory, the RAM and the ROM. Okay, so all these memories falls under the category of main memory. So you can say first is CPU registers, second is cache, third is RAM, and fourth is ROM. These are the type of main memory. And you can say the CPU registers are the fastest, then the cache memory, and ROM is a special memory which is used to store the instruction that are needed when we switch on our computer. And then RAM is the memory with which CPU interact directly, or you can say all the currently active data and programs are stored in main memory so that CPU can use them. Next is RAM. So RAM is also very fast but slower than cache and CPU registers. And these memories are expensive as compared to secondary memory. Okay, so this is all for today. Hope you understand the concepts of main memory. In my next lecture, I will discuss for secondary memories. Okay, thank you students.